Hey guys, you're listening to Spirit Centered Business with Bralynn, Newby. In this show with Michael Basham, we ran into so many tech challenges just trying to go live, trying to get it recorded and everything, that it just became the show. It was so funny. I left some of the clips in, so that's what you're going to experience. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Spirit Centered Business Podcast, where we blend the spiritual with the practical for supernatural results. Now, here is your host, Bralynn Newby.
Computer screen. So that's
cool. Okay, that's
all
good.
right. So we're going.
This is like Michael Basham style you're doing here. It's like first thrusters down, weapon systems offline. We're crashing, but we're still gonna win the war.
Exactly.
We have a cell phone.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
You know,
That's
I don't know why.
Okay.
Eventually, we'll just create our own platform and get people to move over to that.
All right. So, are we live? Okay.
Woohoo.
We're live on Facebook, and this is the craziest thing, you guys. This is Michael Basham, and this is me sideways. Actually, I should just move this camera so that it's not showing me like that. Where should I put this camera? You can look at me in all different ways. Okay, we don't want to see me in all different ways. We're just going to put it down. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe just put it over here. This is totally behind the scenes, and this is how we get the show done, even if all technology fails.
That is
we
right.
sit on a phone on the, well, you can see in this camera, on this camera, you can see this camera on the tripod. So it's like we're looking at ourselves. It's infinite because there's multiple dimensions and multiple realms. Okay, so what I kind of
like it. The stream looks cool. I'm watching it on Facebook. It looks awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You can see the kitchen. I didn't even clean up anything in the kitchen. Oh, that's okay. All right. The beautiful view is over here with the fireplace behind me. So,
it looks so cool. That computer stand is really fancy.
Oh, thank you. That's weird. Okay. It's just like a little riser thingy. Oh, no, I don't want that. I don't want to see me. I want to see you. Okay. I think if you talk, it'll be on here. So everybody, welcome to Spirit Centered Business. I have a really cool intro that hopefully played when I edited this. See, we're talking, it's time travel here.
Yes.
It's really dimensional time travel.
Amen.
So I'm here with Michael Basham, and Michael, I just honor you and I respect you so much. I don't know which way to look at you. For everything that you've done. You have so much wealth of experience. You traveled the world, and you always maintain, you know, there's never a time when it's Michael Basham and then Michael Basham at church, or Michael Basham's faith or his spirituality, and him at work, and him. It's always together. It's always integrated, and that I love that about you. So one of the ways that I titled this was join the SpiritForce, which is your dealio that I'll have you talk about. But even in your 9-to-5, even if you're not doing business like being a business owner, which you actually are because you're doing podcasting, but even in your 9-to-5, everywhere you're showing up, it's kind of cool that you can just be who you are in your, you know, with your faith and your spirit. So thank you for joining us.
That is such, I'm like, who are you talking about here? Because spirit-centered business, that's really the whole, we always talk about cross-pollination and networking and everything, but you guys have honored me so much and have been just such a wealth of like major fruit. That's one of the fallbacks, like, oh yeah, this is why we're doing it. It's like what you and Gil and everybody that have come and just banded together, as Justin Abraham said last night. I was listening to that Justin Abraham thing, and he was like, if you look at Kingdom Talks, check it out. It's like mystics popping up out of everywhere, coming together. It's a glory revolution. And it's true. It's beautiful to see these these warriors, these heroes coming together. And it's you guys, the listeners, that we're doing this for. It's a mess behind the scenes. I mean, I honestly, like, I don't know where you get the energy to get all the tech together when I can barely just get a cell phone that works well enough to just do one live stream. If people see everything behind the scenes, it's really a lot of work, and you guys are the ones that are working the hardest. I mean, half the time,
Thank
I think
you.
like, yeah.
It is. It's a lot of work. You're right. And so I admire you because you pull it together in your garage. Like, how do you do that?
Well, first you get a garage, which in Hawaii is a big miracle to have a garage. Oh. And because thanks to Patreon, and I really appreciate everybody that's banded together on there, including you, Bralynn. Thank you so much for your contribution. But we were able to get a studio when we were in Waikiki, a little office studio by the pool. It was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Go
that was
live
cool.
And then jump in the pool. But it's really about finding the time. And here's the thing, like, I know a lot of people that are building their business or doing something that they are passionate about, but I noticed that when you start thinking about money only, or you get too ingrained in it, it's no longer fun. And then I personally don't enjoy it if it's just all editing, and I'm sorry that you're gonna have to edit this later, but it's gotta be fun. It's gotta be like something that you really can't live without. And when you don't do it, you really regret it. My parents are musicians, and my dad went through a dark time in his life when my grandfather died, where he gave up music for a couple years. And my mom told me, like, she thought she lost my dad because he was so depressed. He wasn't doing music. And that's how he really worships God and spreads the kingdom, is through the violin. Glenn Basham, he's the concert master of the Naples Philharmonic. He's a brilliant musician. But it's like when you give up your passion and you're not working at it, it's going to not always be fun, but you're going to always know that when you go to bed, you're like, yes, okay, that's what I wanted to do. Not watch Netflix all night. I wanted to do something spirit-centered business. And that's such a brilliant title. That's what we're really doing, is bringing the spirit into everything that you're doing and not censoring yourself. You know, I talk to non-Christians every day. I talk to people who are hurting, who had told me up front, hey, I don't want God. I don't want Jesus. I don't want the Bible. Maybe when they're forcing us to get chips in our brains, then I'll start going to church. But Basham, don't you dare preach at me. And then I know they're depressed. And then I look at another friend of mine who's got he's got his own YouTube channel going, Hero Core, awesome young entrepreneur. His dad's a preacher. He knows Christianese, but he doesn't want to be a Christian, this guy. So I grab him and I'm like, hey man, could you give so-and-so Tyler, by the way, everybody please pray for Tyler. He needs help, but he's a super cool guy. So I grabbed one guy, Jake, who's got the Hero Core YouTube channel. I told him I'd give him a shout out. So I was like, look, dude, could you please give Tyler some non-Christian advice? And man, he laughed. That's so hilarious. Hard. And he understood exactly what I was saying, because none of them want any Christian. So they're not Christians. I'm like, hey, you help him. Hey, non-Christian heathen guy, help the other non-Christian heathen guy. And they get it. And they understand I'm not trying to witness at them and preach at them. It's like, I just want people to be in a good place. Hey, gold package, Jesus. But if you just get the little, the little mud and clay package, at least you have something. And then you can move up from there. So it's really discipleship training. And I was in the Family International. I was in a Christian cult for a while. And lots of crazy stuff there. But they did teach us how to witness and win souls and train disciples. So that's kind of what I still want to do without the cult stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But obviously you didn't know that it was a cult when you joined. I mean, or did you?
I mean, everybody told me not to do it. I lost all my Christian friends. I had so many friends, and then I lost all of them to join a hippie sex cult. That's what happens. But in general, and there wasn't really any sex going on. It was mostly just they had the hippie thing going full throttle. And I kind of joined at the tail end of it. And as I researched into a lot of their writings and stuff, it was more like, you guys are just you're like anything goes prophecy school, which basically is the mystic movement now. if you look at it. Hey, what did you get in the mystic realm? Oh, I got this. And then you got people like Ian Clayton who are saying like, no, you can only get this. And then you have people that are just like ultra grace, Justin Abraham. And then you have all kinds of people. I mean, it's like a spiritual space time continuum view of stuff, of doctrine. But the point is, it's not about doctrine. It's about getting connected to Jesus. And that's all I ever wanted to do. That's why I joined the family, was like, they sounded a lot like Rick Joyner, the writings and the prophecies. And then they invited everyone to also start getting visions and prophecies. And I thought that was super cool and dangerous, because the leaders lost control of it. It would be like freaking anybody could get a prophecy and get a vision. How do you control the mystic movement? Who's in charge of this? Is it you and Gil and Adina and
heavens?
I mean, imagine trying to organize this.
Yeah, it's not. I think that, we were talking about this on a different show that we filmed today. It's really not about anyone trying to control it or organize it or create a whole no denomination called mysticism, right? That's the furthest thing from what we want. What we want is just to flow in this move of God, moving out of the church age into the kingdom age, and we're exploring it. We're trying to figure out where the boundaries are. We're reclaiming stuff that the New Age, that we actually abdicated to the New Age, because really, we can say that they stole it, but if we never would have let go of it and just abdicated, it wouldn't be there. So it's meant for us. There's really cool stuff meant for us, but it's all about the movement, awakening people first that it's happening, and then just building a bridge out of the legalism and Christianity, Christianese, and that kind of stuff into this new thing that God is doing that we're all kind of just exploring. So none of us want to say no one has the answer. And if anybody thinks that they do, run the other way, because really it's too new. So
it's fringe. It's the edge world. It's the outer rim of Christendom. But look, back home at your old church in the Podunk Baptist church or whatever Catholic church, guess what? The preacher's being caught, in a Satan cult, raping kids and whatever. I mean, I hate to use this language, but you got the Freemason temple down the street, and we're finding out from Dan Duval what they're doing. It's like, there isn't really a home to go back to. Come to the fringe, come to the outer world. Let's continue to build and to pave the way, because the Holy Spirit is not back at home where you think Christianity still lives. The writings, yes. Every day I listen to my grandfather's network of very foundational Christian writings to just kind of like go back into and preachings. Ern Baxter, really good Bible. Like I rest in that. But when I wake up, I want to know, what's God doing today? What is Tony Floyd Trailblazer experiencing on his spirit craft? And literally calls me up in the middle of the night. He's like going on space journeys, and he's summoning my spirit to go and fight stuff with other guys that are crazy.
Are you fighting mosquitoes right now, actually?
And I am literally fighting mosquitoes. I have mosquitoes like biting me right now.
You guys, I want to give a shout out to Ian Johnson is with us, and Amanda, and Jerry Bryant. Jerry is my spiritual father. I just totally love him. And there's been other shout outs that people have said hi, but this is our behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, because all else failed and we're still going forward with it. We have angels helping with our tech right now. It's just crazy. So if you're wondering why the heck Spirit Centered Business is so crazy, well, this is what happens. This is behind the scenes. So if you're just joining us, that is what's going on. Michael, though, first of all, I want to thank you and Johnny for letting Spirit Centered Business come on to the Fringe Radio Network. I'm so excited to now be syndicated on all of the places that you guys are bringing me. That's awesome with Spirit Centered Business. Hopefully the audio of all of this, they won't see the crazy video, but they'll get great audio, right?
That's what matters the most. I mean, if you can the thing about traveling and trying to get everything set up, you lose your focus sometimes. So when nothing else works, I just go straight to just like going on a walk with my cell phone and recording on Spreaker for 20 minutes or an hour.
Yep.
And look, this is not a game. Like, we are actually in an offensive spiritual warfare campaign led by God. I'm joking like, oh, who's in charge of it? Well, God's in charge of it. And as soon as you decide, I want to be a full-time warrior, I want to be in this, despite, we all fail in many ways every day. But just, you don't let the devil take you down. You go forward, and you will experience extreme battle. The enemy will come after you. This is not a Christmassy little happy movie. This is Die Hard. That was my Christmas movie. How was your happy holidays? My holiday movie was, we watched Die Hard, which is my favorite Christmas movie now, where this guy, John McClane, this New York cop, is in California dealing with terrorists in a high-rise building that's been taken over by German terrorists. Some of the best actors, those guys. They always talk like this, you crazy American cowboy. You think you can just do whatever you want. Well, I will tell you. And he's like on the phone, he's talking to him like, trying to get the police to help him. Nobody believes that he's in a battle. And finally they send a cop, and then he like tosses a body from the top of the building onto the cop car in the battle. And then they're like shooting at the cop car, and he's like, oh my God, he's like trying to get away from the building, and he crashes his looks over, and then John McCain looks over, and he's like, hey, welcome to the party, pal. And that's what I'm telling everybody listening, is like, you come into this spirit war, it's a big freaking horrifying party of death and victory and cowards and heroes. And it's crazy. And we're taking over ground, and the enemy hates us. So you might have like things break. I was walking home the other day. I get a phone call. I'm walking through the rain, literally live streaming on Facebook in the rain.
I saw that one. Yep.
It was like, I turned it on, and then it started pouring. I'm like running for the highway. I just witnessed a robbery. A car crashed in front of me. Two thugs jumped out. One of them was running at me, so I had to like kind of duck out of the way.
Wow.
And I get a phone call. Oh, your computer just broke. The water got all over it. Oh, great. Oh, and mom's car just died. It was within an hour. All this stuff happened. And I stopped and realized, like, whoa, the enemy is fighting us, but he can't touch us, but he's been allowed to touch some of the things around us. So that's why we've got to just be in the spirit all the time. I'm going to share some strategies about how to do that have worked for me. I mean, everybody's got to find their own technique, but
you're going to do that in the academy?
Yeah, sure. We'll get into just some practical things that you can do. But whenever I go on a show like this, I love to just kind of set the whole sketch of like what we're dealing with, big picture style. Like and just to reiterate, it's real. Right. And the whole thing is real.
It's real, and it's real in business too, because everything will come against you. First of all, your mindset. Right. Who are you to have a thriving business? Who are you to do this? Who are you to put out content on the internet? Who are you to create a program or write a book, or, who are you? And you'll have that attack on your identity in your business a lot. And the warfare is real. Obviously, we're dealing with tech issues right now. Who says that this isn't warfare? I mean, we prayed over it, but still, this is tech issues, and we're dealing with it, and we're going to move forward. There's money conversations that are difficult enough to have, and the enemy will come and push every button that you ever had about money or your value, when you're trying to do business. There's so much, the enemy does not want your business to succeed, because here's the deal. When you write up your, the documents that say that I am going to be in business, you go get your business license. When you do that, you're making a declaration to the enemy that I am taking territory. I'm taking territory in this field, in this industry, in this region, whatever it is, I'm taking territory, and the enemy does not want you to have that territory. So
that's right. And to keep it on the business note, most people, when they're starting their business, and I work with people that have their own Patreons, and it's a great way to do it is to not be alone. You know, partner with people, even if it's just subscribing to their Patreon, which I'm not trying to push my own thing here, but I'm saying one of the things that I've noticed is when I subscribe to somebody else's Patreon, I might be like one of their only ones, and that it boosts them. I subscribe to their videos and like the thing, you know, hit the bell and but there's more that it's in the spirit that we're really kind of high-fiving each other. But there's people out there that as you're building your business, as you're working, whatever your 9 to 5 is, if you have one, or whatever you got to do to pay the bills, but on this, you invest as a crazy person, every last bit of energy you have into that thing. And if you hate it, then just don't do it anymore. But the thing is, I really believe like the fighter spirit is the key. It's not, people read Forbes and they think it's all about getting to the top of the pyramid. Look, we're going somewhere way higher than that. It's a place that you can reach right now. You can reach into your future self today in a weird kind of a mystical, I know this is going to sound mysticky and crazy, but you should, if once you learn how to do this yourself, you can talk to other people in this mode too. Who you are in God is so much bigger than the top of the world. Look at Trump. He's supposedly the big successful business guy. He laid all that down to go and fight all this garbage in Washington, and we're spirit viewing him and praying for him too. That's one of our major campaigns that some of my buddies were always praying for him. But the point is, whatever your position in the world, it doesn't matter. It's your position in the spirit. And if you're the bride of Christ, and if you're intimate with God and you're in that vein, then the enemy will fight against you. But the Bible promises he will not prevail against you, for I am with you, thus saith the Lord. So the point is the warfare aspect of it and building a military force and attacking the enemy. Your business is one of your bases. Your family is probably your main base. Hopefully you have a family, but some people don't. They're just like, he sets the solitary in families. I've been alone many times, and the Lord always put me in a family or around a family. But then your business, your whole message, and your vision, and hopefully your writing and sharing things on various blogs and websites, and like we have our book and all this kind of stuff. But investing time in it is the key, and not dropping the ball. I know people that they're like, okay, well, I'm going to publish one thing a month or one thing a week, and they end up dropping the ball after just 7 episodes, because it's not something like it has to be perfect. It has to be so polished and nice, but then they give up after a few months. Whereas
I wouldn't have gone live with this show if it had to be polished.
I know. Yeah. We would have been like, yeah, forget it. And you did 2 shows today already too. I mean,
this is the 3rd show today.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll probably go live tonight, but the thing is, like, if you can streamline it to where it's simple enough to where you are keeping yourself in the game, keeping the faith. There are various weapons of the spirit that you can learn how to use to basically be equipped and ready. And you don't have to try to tackle everything at once too. It's like finding your passion and sticking with that and going forward with that every day, even if it's a simple one little step. I talk to soldiers every day, actual real military guys that have just come out of the Air Force or just come out of the Army. And one of my favorite things to ask them is like, so how many push-ups did you do today? And I started doing it to the point where I got one guy to finally start doing push-ups, and he said, I did 6 today. Got another guy, he's like, oh, I did 200 push-ups today. I'm like, wow, okay. I did about 60. But it's checking on each other. And I go to my Patreon buddy, some of my friends that I know are creators. Another shout out to a friend, No Ordinary Scholar on YouTube, and she is a writer, and she's doing a great job just keeping the ball rolling, even with just the listeners that she has. She's got the vision, and I ask her, how many words did you write today? How many words did you write towards your book? And that's always a fun one too, because I'm a writer as well. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you wrote 200. That's good. That's a step. I got about 1,000 in today, with
nice.
When the baby was sleeping. Well, not today, but some days.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is watch each other. Like if you're going to the gym, you're probably going to give up after a few months if you don't have somebody else who at least sometimes you go to the gym with, you know, like, okay, did you go to the gym today? Or like you check each other. And so that's kind of where the community part comes in. Sometimes you and Gil will call me and be like, hey, you coming on? And I'm like, what? Oh, we're doing this. Oh yeah. Oh, wow. Cool. And I can lose the vision too if I don't have people spotting me. And Johnny, you know, calling me up and getting on my butt about my audio problems. He's like, you know what? We're going to send you a microphone. Martin Smith also has done this before. He's like, where's your freaking green screen, man? It's really like the team effort. That's the physical side of it. But if we can focus on the spirit, that's where you're really going to find your strength, is in the secret place of the Most High. And I know I'm just kind of jumping all over the place here, but did you want to say anything? I'm not letting you get a word.
I do want to come back to you being your spiritual self in the marketplace. So I know you have a 9-to-5. And so what does that look like for the people who are in a 9-to-5er, that you bring kingdom principles, you bring spirits with you, you bring Jesus, you know, tell us about that.
Well, I mean, as you can see from the way I'm talking right now, and I'm not unconsciously all over the place, it's like in my mind, there are a million worlds that I'm trying to bring to you. Like I've just come from 12 different dimensions. And, you know, the thing that's helped me the most in every random little funky job that I've had here in Hawaii is just to totally be yourself and present in language that sometimes the heathens might be able to understand, because, you know, that's what they are. I love them, but Hawaii is full of them. Nobody is hungry for God here, hardly. There's churches, watered down churches. There's God bless them, feeding the homeless. Thank you for doing that. But there are so few people who are hungry to know the living God. So you're kind of on your own here. And then you find one other one, but that guy's also working like crazy, trying to support his family. We're scattered around. But when you're faced with people that have no faith, or maybe they have a little bit of faith in this, or maybe they're aware of the Illuminati or something, you can kind of focus on that and build that up. And being yourself is just like, hey, yeah, so I just came from like this world and I just time traveled here and there. And one point I left trailing off is like finding yourself in Jesus, knowing who you are in him, truly a majestic person that has eternal life with a celestial body, with governing multiple star systems, or whatever God has for you according to your faithfulness. When you see that and you speak with your future self, which God will introduce you to at some point, if you get into meditative mode, we're going to talk about that too in the class. But you are then able to turn around and then aim that weapon at little 19-year-old worker guy that is just, you know, probably likes to go surfing, likes to smoke weed, whatever. Maybe his dad is a Christian, but he's not really into it. And you speak to him, and you speak as, I like to go into like Lord of the Rings mode and be like, I see you. Your name, Isaiah, is a prophetic name. I have here the pages of your ancestors. I have seen your true self in the future. And you can just like build them up in almost like a wild, out there science fiction fantasy way, but it's actually real. When you look at the Bible, it actually is who they are. And then talk to them and just, you know, and they kind of laugh, and people might kind of think you're weird, but it's like, oh, it's Michael. He's just being himself again. But then somewhere deep down, a seed was planted. Hopefully, even if you didn't use any Christianese, like they might be like, wow, maybe I am somebody that is celestial. And it's true. We are all made of stardust. And I'm talking to people just like I'm talking right now, except I have like 20 seconds usually in my workplace to really talk to someone. And so a lot of times just being creative, and if you see a bunch of managers in a meeting yesterday, I'll encounter one of those managers later, and I'll be like, hey, so how was the Council of Elrond? And they'll kind of look at you like funny, like, And like, what, you don't know Lord of the Rings? Like, you know, all the great leaders and Gandalf and Elrond and the hobbits and the dwarves and the elves meeting in this beautiful place. And then you can kind of talk to them like, well, you're one of those people. Aren't you one of those people? Aren't you a great elven lord who's been around for thousands of years? You know, like, it's just, that's kind of how it works for me. I mean, everybody will have their own way of sharing God's kingdom. I'm like, in Hawaii, I am desperately fighting here. Like, it is not an easy battlefield to do, but that's where, and I'll tell them straight up, I'm like, you know what? I can't even talk to people about what I'm talking to. So I go home and, you know, spend some nice family time. And then I go in the garage and then I just go live for 2 hours and talk about what I really want to talk about. And then I get to talk with you guys. And now we're being picked up by terrestrial radio in Georgia, in Texas.
This is a really cool, let's just talk about podcasting as a marketing tool to get your message out, because you're really, really good at this. And so you're really good at consistency, at holding the audience's attention. There's just a lot of things. And then, you know, when we have a business, that is just an awesome way to not only get your content out there, to be part of the body of work that you're known for, to set yourself up as an expert in your field. It's also just a way to connect and nurture relationships. And especially like when we're going live, we're on Facebook here, you know, I see people coming in and I just, you know, hey guys, John is here, John Fuller.
Hey, John.
Hilarious.
Jerry.
Yeah, he is hilarious.
Hey, Amanda. Hey, wife.
And
cool.
And Jerry. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Jennifer's in here. So anyway, we can build these relationships with these through podcasting. So tell us how you started podcasting, and then we'll go into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay, well, again, I was in a cult in Taiwan that was crashing and burning, and all of my warrior friends were, well, I always told them, I'm like, hey, so we're all in a cult here. So, I mean, just to be honest, like, it's a cult. And some of them really liked that, and I think some of them still do, because the cult is a small group of people together, a warrior band that are trying to do something. I respect people that have been through that. I love ex-cult members. Those are my favorite people. I don't know if you've been in a cult, Bralynn, but sometimes I feel like you may have been. Anyway,
perhaps
we were up to our eyeballs in revelation, in like spiritual weapons, spaceships of the kingdom of God, artwork of angels, prophecies of like what it looks like at the flower festival in the New Jerusalem, or just, you know, these random cool things. And I just wanted to share that with the world. So in those days, I was still pretty much on the same page with everybody. No crime had taken place yet, as later did, as in my radar. So at some point, I got picked up. My radio thing was actually just a little YouTube channel. And I used to just post everything. I used to post other people's things too and get in trouble for it. But then I would go and walk around with my cell phone, and I'd be driving and stuck in traffic in Taiwan, and I'd be talking about anything. I mean, there's so much to cover. Like, and I'm a listener now too. I got into listening to podcasts, and always, you know, pretty bad audio on my end, but I was more of like a commentator, I guess. And then I would share some visions, some dreams, some experiences in between analyzing what was going on. And then listening to Alex Jones going 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. And then even at night, he goes home and then he sits standing there in his boxer shorts, sometimes just with his cell phone, still talking, dealing. And you know, Alex Jones, InfoWars, fighting the enemy, fighting on the political spectrum mostly, but he's become very prophetic recently. He's kind of like a prophet Jeremiah, you know, doomed to the wicked in Jerusalem, a watchman on the wall. My end of things is kind of more joyful. Like, I just enjoy having a good conversation with people, and I'm in the fight, but when I get to come on here, it's more about, like, I love communicating with people and just getting to know others. And I feel like there's so much that we all have to share and it's kind of become more of a community. Like the Fringe Radio Network picked us up. Thank you, Matthew Miller. Thank you, Johnny Iron, the Iron Show. And that's a long story, but getting set up with the studio stuff, Spreaker, getting a microphone finally. And we just started interviewing people. We interviewed all of my heroes pretty much. We got Ian Clayton on here. We got Mike Parsons. We got Benjamin Baruch. We got some info warriors. We had some random people pop out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And then I was blessed to meet my wife through this and then come to Hawaii, and we started a new life, a new family. And I had mega battles with ex-cult people because I think they kind of lost control of me at some point. And they tried to stop this. I mean, not them. It was the enemy, obviously. But, this thing is out of control. Like, I'm not in charge of this. I am not the one in charge of anything except just my own little computer and my own little studio, which is growing. The beauty of this is that it's really a movement of God, and no man is in control of it. And you can support us. I mean, I'm really thankful for all the donations and everything, but I don't like the idea of me having this $1 million studio and me having to micromanage everything like StarCraft, having to click on every unit and say, okay, Marine, you go there. Okay, Tank, you go there. Okay, SCV unit, you harvest more minerals. We need more gas. Okay, and it's just like a nightmare. But I love everybody finding their place and going with their passion. And then I look over there and I see you on the battlefield and Gil Hodges. And then I see Bralynn over here, and I see my wife is over here, and then we have friends over there, and I'm, seeing Ian Clayton sharing his latest thing on his Patreon, and InfoWars is going live, and Rush Limbaugh's going live here, and Dan Duvall is still doing his thing. And the Fringe Radio Network is kind of is bringing a lot of those people together to where now radio stations are getting sick and tired of just playing rock and roll and country music. They want to play the fringe Christian stuff that I love and passionate about, and that others must be passionate about. How can you help? Well, maybe you have a radio station in your town that would like to play Kingdom Talks or the wide variety of Fringe Radio Network shows.
So speaking of that,
everything.
you did get picked up on an AM station. Where?
FM and AM in Georgia.
Okay.
99 K Rock, the key W. I need to get the actual code before me, but we have, and that's been going on for a while. I didn't even realize that was happening. WQEE 99 Rock, the key, plays SpiritWars at 5 o'clock in the morning weekdays.
That's so cool. So do they pick which episodes to go with, or do you show it, tell them, or how does that work?
I just got in touch with them. I listened in, and they were playing some prophetic Daniel Bible study rant that I did. And then sometimes they'll just pick and choose. And so I'm going to talk to them, see what they like, and try to see what's hitting home. Because I'm all over the place, Sometimes I'm just sitting here, picking my nose, and we don't know what to tell you guys. But
I'm an avid listener of the SpiritForce, SpiritWars.
Thank you.
So yes, I do know that you do tend to go all over the place.
And then it's like, how many points did we forget to finish here?
I know, right?
It's because there's so much to talk about. Anyway.
Shout out to Adam. Hey, Adam, and Karen is watching. Karen, this is what happens when we have tech problems. We go forward anyway. Yeah. We do it anyway. We do it afraid. We do it wrong. We do it ugly. So anyway, that's what we're doing.
Getting down and dirty at the SpiritForce here.
So I have a question for you for your AM or terrestrial, both AM and FM, terrestrial radio. What is the agreement did you have to sign agreements, like the business end of this? How does that all work?
I mean, written agreements on Messenger from like a year ago. Yeah, sure. Take whatever you want. Yeah, please use it. Yeah. I don't think anybody's making any money off of this, except we're getting more listeners and people can donate. Hopefully we'll have products to sell eventually. At this point, and this is how I look at it, like the same way InfoWars has always just said, hey, take anything we're making, use it anywhere, as long as you're not like copywriting it and saying you made it. Some people don't like that. Obviously, they want to control their content and have part of the share, or we aren't there yet. You know, eventually we might have the ability to monetize directly within, but we have commercials in the shows, some of them.
Oh yeah.
So that
speaking of that, we should take one.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
take a
sure.
break. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is
Awesome.
this is behind the scenes. So that when we're editing, this is going to work. We're going to take a break and we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Spirit-centered business, spiritual principles, and business principles combined. If you're ready to align your destiny and discover the destiny of your business, join us. We are entrepreneurs, leaders, and business professionals who take the power of the spirit realm in our business seriously. We go beyond just consuming information. We participate, activate, and engage the supernatural with unbelievable results. If you want to gather with like-minded business professionals to activate spiritual principles and mastermind creative solutions to business challenges, Spirit-Centered Business is your tribe. Go to SpiritCenteredBusiness.com to become a member today.
Okay, and now we're back. We're back with Michael Basham, and let's see how that works.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi, we're talking about a lot of things. SpiritForce, but most recently we were just talking about AM and FM radio stations picking up our podcasting shows, which is amazeballs if you're a business owner and you're using podcasting as a marketing tool, because now so many more people are hearing you. So you do want to make sure that you have the call to action. Like Michael has a book, and I want to give you a shout out. Where can people go right now to sign up for your Patreon and grab your book?
Yeah, everything is at thespiritforce.com. The links to the Patreon,
Okay.
The book link should be there. It's The Kingdom Romance, Michael Basham on Amazon. It's just a little kind of a sketching of all the spiritual journeys in a fictional format that we're going to continue. It's episode 1. So, I mean, that's there. That helps us if you have a chance to look through that. So far, it's gotten good reviews from the friends that have listened to it and family. They're like, when is part 2 coming out? I'm like, we're working on it. It's basically like almost like a, I would say it's a mix of a lot of things. Romance as in the old epic space opera, spirit opera sense of meeting Enoch and learning about a lot of things that I don't have time to tell you about right now. But let's just say it explores many things. And this is the key. And if I can get into this in detail in a minute, whenever you want to get into like actual strategies in a class format.
Oh yeah, we'll do that for the Academy. Let me just give a shout out. First of all, Adam says that Michael looks like Marty McFly. All right.
These are the only sunglasses I have left. The $1 ones. All the nice designer sunglasses are lost.
Oh man, and it's so bright. And I know, let me just show for the live crew here. I've got this huge bright light, and actually I had another light too that fell over as we were trying to do all of this jury rigging. So we just left it laying on the couch. Yeah. Anyway. So for the Academy is the Spirit-Centered Business place where we go and we actually do training and activations and things like that. So for every guest, or almost every guest who is on the Spirit-Centered Business show, we invite them to be a trainer in the Academy. And so what Michael is going to be teaching us is some pretty cool strategy on, specifically, Michael?
Well, how to use 100% of your brain, basically, to get into God mode. I mean, God mode is the best mode to go, pretty much.
Okay.
And just what comes from that, because it sounds like hokey, total new age, ridiculous stuff people make up out of their butt. It's not. It's like you do access God, and He wants to talk to you and through you. And whenever you're ready, we can access God mode.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that for the for the Academy. Let me just wrap up a little bit longer here for the live people. When Michael says that we access the heavenlies is absolutely true. We do this in the Spirit Centered Business Activation membership, and we literally go up. We have a conference room in the heavenly realms, and Father is our CEO, and we sit at the conference table and we ask. Sometimes he has us ask for what the business challenge we're having at the moment.
Really?
Or sometimes he just gives us things. Yeah, it's pretty amazing and what has happened and come out manifested on earth because of the work that we've done in this conference room.
Oh my gosh.
And we've met beings who have helped us along the way, helped us understand business, solved problems, things like that. So that is also on spiritcenteredbusiness.com, and just go to the member area and you can join either the Academy, which is coming online in February, or the activation group, which is going on right now. Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap up the live portion here. I don't even know which way to look because I've got both cameras going on here, but we're wrapping up the live portion. Thanks, you guys. I so appreciate you being on with us live, and we will definitely have a better show for you next week after I clean up whatever tech issues were going on. You know, and Gil helped us right before we went live, and literally it was the most bizarre thing. We were literally set to go at 5 o'clock, and I did one more test and it didn't work. So there you have it. This is what we did.
That's typical for us.
Anyway,
not for you.
Let's
Welcome
not
to my
speak
party.
That out into the universe. No, let's.
Thank you. Anyway. No, I mean it in a positive way. It means this. There's something here that is going to reach its target, and the enemy knows that. Mm-hmm. And one last thing. When I talk about finding out who you are and all that stuff, it sounds so Disney Saturday morning cartoon garbage. I'm talking about the enemy is after your soul because of something that you're going to do. You're basically John Connor in the Terminator. Like, he's sending future assassins who saw what your scroll is, and he's coming after you before you're born, when you're freaking, pot smoking teenager, whatever, video game addict. You're not even saved yet. He's coming after you because of who you're going to be in the future. And you can access that future you through this God mode spirit thing that I don't even understand, honestly. I'm an addict of it. And I want to talk about that a little bit on the Academy. So everybody get ready.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, you guys, for being with us. Until next week, stay spirit centered, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Spirit Centered Business with Bralynn Newby. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. The next stage of doing business by being spirit-centered is coming together in collaboration, working with spiritual principles and knowing our destiny. Join our tribe at spiritcenteredbusiness.com, and we'll catch you on the next broadcast. Peace out.